Hello friends. I'm going to tell you a bit about the Baha'i faith and some of the teachings, and I'm going to show you some. And when I say show you, I'm going to do some magic to explain certain points and that. I first came across the Baha'i faith in 1971 when I went to a public meeting in the Victoria Open, and Charles MacDonald was giving a talk about a young man known as the Bab. And he explained that Bab meant gate. In English, it meant the way. The way. But we would say hell. And he was to hell the one that God made manifest. And it was in May the 22nd. In 1844, he met a young man, Mullah Hussein. And the Bab, at the age of 25, he took Mullah Hussein home with him. And it was later, it was early the next day, that he declared his mission on the 23rd of May to Mullah Hussein. And Mullah Hussein immediately believed in him, and he went, and the Bab sent him out to tell people. Mullah Hussein went to these special people. It was it was about 9 months later that the Bab declared his mission publicly. He soon had many followers, and these followers were being persecuted and killed. Well, let me show you. Let me show you what. It was in 1844, in Persia, in the city of Shiraz, that the young man appeared, known as the Bab. He wore the green turban as a descendant of the Prophet Muhammad. He was to herald the one that God would make manifest. And soon he had many followers, and his followers were going far and wide, and they were being persecuted, many killed and tortured. The Bab was sold. The authority didn't like what he was teaching, and he was in prison. And he was put into this deep, black dungeon. No light for a time. He had no light. He had no light. And it was so dark, not even a candle. And darkness was sweeping the land, because his followers were all being killed and tortured. And soon they sent him further away from the city to a further mountain prison. And there he was. And then finally they brought him to the city of Tabriz. And there they put him on trial. Though there was no warrant out for his arrest, this young man at the age of 31, who had been in prison for 2 years and 9 months, was put on this trial by the authority. And the authorities were determined to find him guilty. And they took him, and they said, "Who are you?" And he said, I am the promised one." With this, they took him outside and hung him on the city wall, and 750 bullets did pierce his body. And then they took the body down from the city wall, and they slung it into the ditch outside the city wall. And it lay there for 3 days and 3 nights, and on the 3rd night it disappeared. It's not been retrieved by the Baha'i followers. And it lay hidden for 60 years, and it finally was brought to the Holy Land and laid to rest on the centre of Mount Carmel. Now I would like to tell you a bit about Baha'i. Baha'i was a rich nobleman, and he was known for his kindness and that to all people, which was most unusual in Persia. the rich didn't care anything about us, but Baha'i loved people and helped people. And when the Baha'is would begin persecuting, Baha'i helped the Baha'is, the followers of the Baha'i. And he was put into prison. And his feet were he was bastonada, that beating your feet with rods or steel sticks and that. And then he was let down. Of what was happening to the Baha'is. Tremendous things. They were newborn babes that even took over their feet and took over the head and pulled the heads off like that. Boiling water would pour down young children, both babies and young children. The followers of the Baha'i were thrown to the mob, and the butchers came with their knives, and the carpenters with the saws and hammers, and the blacksmiths with their tools, and mallets and that. And all this was going on from Baha'i. For a second time was arrested and thrown into prison. Again he was bastonada. Again the letting out. Because he had quite a lot of influence, because the people loved him so, and he was sort of kind. But on the third time, they took him again. And this time, they threw him into a deep, dark pit, known as the Sea of Char. It used to be a public bath, and they used to drain the water down an alley gully, and it was down this, where they put them. There were 3 flights of steps down, it was black and dark, and Baha'i were chained up with highwaymen and robbers, many in no clothes. And they put round Baha'i neck a great big heavy chain, weighing about 100 weight, and this chain was so heavy that Baha'i had to have a piece of wood to hold his chin to try to relieve the pain of the weight of this chain, because Baha'i was a very small man. And he bore the mark of this chain round his neck until the day he died. And it was when he was in the Sea of Charles. Well, let me show you about it. Let's use this ball to represent Baha'i, and this cup, the Sea of Charles, and other places at Baha'i were exiled. Now Baha'i was placed in this deep, dark pit, and he was there. His enemies gave him poison, and they said, aha, Baha'i will die. And they said, aha, Baha'i will die. But, you know, Baha'i didn't die, because God revealed to Baha'i that he was the one ordained by the Baha'i to bring a new age for mankind, the one that God had made manifest. And so his enemies think like this, and they said, right, we're sending this time to Baghdad. In exile, they sent him to Baghdad, and they heard nothing of him. And it was quite some time, they heard nothing about Baha'i, and they said, good, we hear no more. But then Baha'i revealed to his followers that he was the one that God had made manifest, and his followers took his message far and wide. And of course the enemy said, no, we're not having this. We send Baha'i to Constantinople. And they sent Baha'i to Constantinople. They said, now we hear nothing of him in Constantinople. But you know, they were wrong, because it was in Constantinople Baha'i revealed many teachings. And of course, they didn't like that, his enemies. They said, no, we can't have this. We must send him away. And this time they sent him across the water to Europe, to Adrianople. And they sent him to Adrianople. And while he was in Adrianople, they said, we can hear nothing of him. But perhaps so they thought that was safe. But you know, it was why they were in Adrianople that Baha'i revealed more teaching. And his followers took the teachings. So they said, no, we're not having this. We're sending to the Turkey prison city in the Holy Land, Akka, and they sent him to the prison city of Akka in the Holy Land. And while Baha'i was there, was taken there, he was marched through the city in chains. And the people jeered him and said, ha, 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 here comes the king of the Persians. Look at the king of Persian, he in chains, ha, 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 ha. And Baha'i was there for a short ride, and they moved him just out of the city in the mansion of Baha'i, outside the city, into the mansion of Baha'i. And it was while Baha'i was in the mansion of Baha'i that Baha'i died. And the enemy said, good, good. Baha'i is dead now, we hear no more of him. We will hear no more of Baha'i. But you know, they were wrong, because though Baha'u'llah's physical body was dead, his teachings live on, and he followed his teaching all over the world. And that's the story of Baha'u'llah. You might say, well, what happened to his enemies? Well, what happened to him? No, yeah. Well, of course, you know, his enemies got this nasty taste in the mouth. They didn't like it at all. They didn't like it. Because everything they tried to do to Baha'u'llah turned sour on them. And that is it. And of course, even to this day, Baha'is are being persecuted, and you see the enemies on TV trying to justify it. They look so idiots, you know. They do. No matter what they do, they look so idiots. Because it don't matter how they try to justify it, they can't, because they've got egg on the face. I told you a bit about the history of the Baha'i faith. But they look at the world situation, what people are doing. You know, there's a lot we can do. We can help people and that. And Baha'i tells us we should be kind and that to all people. You get some people that say, why don't the police do this? Why don't the police do that? I don't want no looking about politics. I don't want no looking about religion. I don't know what they do. The do-gooders. Let them do it. And these people are like the ostrich that buried their head in the sand. They try to escape into some realm of mystery. And we all do at times. But no matter where we go, reality is always there. But let me show you the mystery of the ring and take you into the world of fantasy just for a few moments. But beware, beware, for reality is always there. 1, 2, 3. 3 solid rings. Watch very carefully. Completely hot. Oh, is it? Don't matter where you hit, anywhere that's quite solid. But watch, when solid dissolves. Watch very carefully. And then we take this ring and we go up there like that. It goes through there like that and through there like that. We take that ring like that and drop it there like that, it goes like that. This ring goes down like that and down there like that, and there we've got the chain of 3. 3, 1, 2, 3 rings. Now go like that. And a little flip, and that one come off. A little flip round there like that, and there you go off. Now we see the globe, the world. We're getting back to reality. For the world today is in a tangle just like these rings. There are wars, famine, racial and religious hatred, terrorist attacks. Where'er we turn, the world today is in sort of turmoil. Don't matter what country or where we see, the world is in this state. And politicians seem hopeless, seem to get it into more tangle. The old religions are fighting amongst themselves. And it only through the divine teachings of Baha'i can this world become untangled. In a black bag. No, I've not got babies in here, I'm not a doctor. I've got 1, 2, 3 pieces of rope, and of course, the empty bag. Now in the world today we got some people that's starving. Many people and thousands of millions are starving throughout the lands. And we got the other people that got a bit of money and that, and they're not too bad off. They're surviving. And you've got the food, and the very, very rich have got most of the money, you see. And if it goes like this, you see. And Baha'i said one of the main causes of unrest is the unequal spreading of wealth because of the poor and the rich on the other hand. And this caused so much strife and so much trouble. And Baha'i said